T's and P's to Gregg Popovich and his family. He's stepping away. Officially, the report that we're hearing is Gregg Popovich is moving into a full-time front office role. The legendary head coach, a man that since his last health scare, there was the growing expectation that he would be moving into this role. After a 29-year run as a San Antonio head coach, he becomes the full-time president of basketball. I wonder what's going to happen with R.C. Buford. I guess R.C. is the CEO, so it doesn't matter. Either way, it's an interesting story. Shout out Shams Charania for breaking the news. And that since 1994, he's been in the front office and has been coached since 1996. He suffered a mild stroke on November 2nd and did not return during the season. Assistant coach Mitch Johnson took over on an interim basis, went 31-45 under his watch. Now Popovich will be involved on the day-to-day operations of the team, and he's been present. However, he just isn't going to be part of the grind moving forward. He ranks third all-time in career coaching playoff wins, is one of 5 coaches ever to win at least 5 titles, along with Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach, John Kula, and Pat Riley, of course. And he's credited for building the Spurs and all that stuff. So let's talk about the candidates who could be replacing Gregg Popovich and who they could be going out and seeking. Before we start today's video, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think could replace him? From what I've been told, Mitch Johnson more than likely will not be the guy. He might be just too green behind the ears. So let's get right into it. Obviously, I think it becomes kind of easy to think about who it could be. Let's talk about the recently unemployed head coaches. Michael Malone, recently dismissed by the Denver Nuggets despite leading them to their first NBA championship in 2023 and becoming the franchise all-time winningest coach. We know he rubbed people the wrong way, just the way he, I guess, didn't hold Jokic and Jamal Murray accountable like the rest of the team. Other things. There's the other one, Mike Budenholzer, who's a former Spurs assistant, 2-time NBA Coach of the Year, NBA champion, and was fired from the Phoenix Suns after one season, losing the locker room. I think the best one is former Spurs assistant intern Taylor Jenkins, fired by the Memphis Grizzlies after going 44-29. He led the team to multiple playoff appearances. Yes, there's not a champion pedigree. If you're going for a championship coach, Michael Malone seems like the best one. Maybe Mike Brown. Mike Brown, another former Spurs coach, let go by the Sacramento Kings in December 2024 after losing the locker room, has prior head coaching experience with the Cavs and Lakers, and is a former Spurs assistant. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to poach a coach, which would be a Quinn Snyder. I don't think that's happening. Quinn Snyder did lead the Austin Spurs from 2007 to 2010, and unless the Atlanta Hawks randomly fire or he requests to be let go from the Hawks, because Quinn Snyder was for a long time rumored to be the replacement for Popovich, then it became Steve Kerr. I don't think either of those are going to be coming over. But Taylor Jenkins, former assistant coach for the Spurs G League affiliate, Austin Spurs from 2008 to 2013, recently dismissed the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think his unexpected availability, more than likely, is raising eyebrows in San Antonio. And that's something that's been expressed by the San Antonio local media. Now, obviously, everyone's going to bring up Mitch Johnson, served as the Spurs interim head coach. They had some challenges besides Popovich's absence, Victor Wembanyama's season-ending injury, but I've said it before, they're probably trying to follow the same model that the Seahawks did with Russell Wilson. Try to win or try to be good while you have Victor Wembanyama on the rookie deal. Look, I love to have a woman head coach, but Becky Hammon, who's currently the head coach of Las Vegas Aces and led them to back-to-back WNBA championships, she's not coming. She's got a good gate there. Now, James Borrego is currently an assistant coach in the NBA. He was the Spurs assistant coach from 2003 to 2010 and then 2015 to 2018. He was the former head coach of the Charlotte Hornets. He's an offensive genius. He's somebody that I think that the Pelicans would be cool letting go because, and I think if it's not Taylor Jenkins, I think James Borrego is a legit option because James Borrego, David Griffin, the now fired former president of basketball operations for the Pelicans, wanted to fire Willie Green halfway through last season and insert James Borrego as the starting coach or as the new head coach. So I think he's a guy who has a lot of pump around the league, and I think he's someone that could be the dark horse. Will Hardy was a wonderkind for a long time, but he's with Utah, and they're not going to take him out of there. Brett Brown is on the team, and he was an assistant coach from 2002 to 2013. He returned as a Spurs assistant from 2022. My opinion, yes, he was the coach during the process years for the Sixers and after that. However, if they liked him to be the coach, he would have been made the interim coach when it happened. They didn't, and I think he just doesn't want to be the coach. That's kind of like what I've heard grumblings of. Emmi Udoka was a Spurs assistant and player. Spurs assistant specifically 2012 to 2019. However, he's with the Houston Rockets, and I doubt that they're gonna try to poach him. Now, outside of that, Sam Cassell, while not a former Spur, he is a respected guy. I just don't really think he's somebody that's gonna go ahead and be their option. Now, who is a dark horse that we haven't mentioned, and he's I believe he's Tony Parker's brother, Pierre Parker. So Pierre Parker, he's an assistant coach with the Spurs G League team. All right. And he's a guy that I think it's actually a really interesting story, because Pierre Parker, I guess he played college ball at Loyola, Illinois, and he's currently with assistant coach, and nothing insane. Young guy. He is 38 years old. I guess not young, but he's been around the organization. He's a guy that I think if there was a random name to come out of anywhere, it could be the younger brother of Spurs legend Tony Parker, who's allegedly still with the team as an assistant coach. Now, I don't see them having any else. I really think there's going to be someone connected to the team, and I'm curious, because what is the expectation here? And by the way, Pierre Parker, very discreet guy. Like, I didn't even know that this was his brother until recently when we started researching for this video. That's why he is kind of like the dark horse guy, if to replace Gregg Popovich, if it isn't one of these, currently unemployed coaches. That I really do think Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone are probably the front two. Then James Borrego. Those are my top three: Taylor Jenkins, James Borrego, Michael Malone. I think that's the guys that we would probably want to put in like that level. And yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys expect? I was pulling up here, made me log into my LinkedIn, and I hate when they do that. And then, God, hate when stuff happens like that. But yeah, that's everyone we have. I feel like if I keep you any longer, would be a waste of your time. Pierre, all right, so Parker, he's been with the team for 3 years almost. Coaching assistant. He's now a full-time assistant coach. He was with ASVL. Dude, he coached high school ball. Interesting career path. So I think Pierre Parker's one to keep an eye out for. But like I said, Jenkins 1, Borrego, then Michael Malone.